Good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Memhard, and I am the Ward 1 Gloucester City Councilor and Chair of our Budget and Finance Committee. And with me are our at-large councilors, as being a candidate, Patty Ann Page and Council President Tony Gross. And if we could just go around the room and introduce ourselves, I would appreciate that. Just makes it easy for me. I don't want to forget your name again, Bill.
Okay. So Bill Cuff, Vice Chair of the Community Preservation Committee.
Bill Cranen with the Planning Office for Urban Affairs. We're a applicant to the CPC.
Brenda McWilliam Lopez, YMCA of the North Shore, representing the Cape Ann Y.
Well,
Thank you.
Miranda Ashleen Hines, the Arts, Culture, and Events Coordinator for the City of Gloucester, here for the cultural districts.
Matt Lundberg, Chair of the Community Preservation Commission.
Danielle Larrabee, I'm the Public Health Excellence Program Manager from the Health Department.
excellent. In the back, we have Connor McCorkle, our CFO and Treasurer. His name is on every bill that goes out of the office here. And online, I believe we have Kenny Costa. Oh, and we have Alex Koppelman, our Planning Director, and Emily Sloan, Economic Development Director, Coordinator. Not Director, Coordinator. Anybody else online, Tony, that I should?
I will tell you in a second.
Deanna Fay is online here.
We have Zoe. Zoe is
Grants Manager.
CPC, yeah,
and Kenny.
great. So we have a couple of items on our agenda. We'll take them as in order. We're here in the conference room at Gloucester City Hall. The date is February 5th, 2026. And we're also online via Zoom. So we're going to do three final, at least unless you come up with the next one, and not next interim one. Community Preservation Act awards that have been recommended to us by the Community Preservation Committee. And I'll ask Bill and Matt to make the introductions.
Great, thanks, Scott. I'm Matt Lundberg, and I will revisit briefly the CPC process. The Community Preservation Act is a Massachusetts statute whereby municipalities can enroll with the state to receive matching funds for funds that are raised through an additional surcharge on real estate taxes in the city of Gloucester. We usually have around $1 million raised through this program a year. In recent years, about 80% of that is through Gloucester citizens and 20% is from the state matching fund. By the statute, we create a community preservation committee whose job is to oversee the statute, to hear applications for those funds, and to make recommendations to the city on which of those applications and for how much we recommend it be funded through that fund. Projects coming out of the Community Preservation Act have to be in one of four categories: community housing, historic preservation, open space preservation, or outdoor recreation. This year, we recommended 10 projects to the City Council for funding. We have previously been to 2 B&F meetings to present the first 7 of those, and tonight we present the last 3 of those. And so with that, I will proceed with each of those projects in order.
Sweet.
The first one for tonight is an application from a joint applicant, the Planning Office for Urban Affairs, working with Harbor Light Homes to develop the site at 272 Washington Street, just off the rotary towards Riverdale, for affordable housing. The total project cost of this project is over $36 million. CPC is recommending a CPA grant of $125,000 to support that. And here representing that project tonight is Phil Crean from the Planning Office for Urban Affairs. And I'll turn it over to Phil for any additional comments on the project and to take any questions you might have.
Great, thanks. Just a quick intro to the project. This is a redevelopment of a vacant nursing facility that will provide family housing, 62 units of family housing, 100% affordable, bedroom sizes from 1 to 3 bedrooms, affordable to 30 to 80% area median income, And as part of this process, we've committed to having a local preference for Gloucester residents, employees for during the initial lease up. Happy to answer any questions.
It's a pretty succinct summary of a really major project.
Have to work on it.
For questions? Councilor Page.
I might ask, just for my own clarification, how does the local preference work? I know there is one, which is really important to us in Gloucester, but I don't know exactly how they work.
Sure. So this process is, this project is going intended to be permitted under Chapter 40B. So as part of that, we'll be submitting the local preference to the state to get approved. There'll be some percentage, it goes up to 70%. And that will be part of our, what's called a tenant selection plan during the initial lease up. So after the project's completed, the Harbor Light Homes marketing management team and marketing team will market the project, and there'll be a pool of applicants. And one of those preferences will be Gloucester residents. So when they're filling out an application, whether they live or work in Gloucester, they check that box and then they go into a preference pool. So they would get the first selection of the units they're applying for.
Thank you.
Councilor Gross.
No, I've been pretty well acquainted with this project with Harbor Light. And I think it's a good project location. I mean, while no matter where we put affordable housing, everyone's always in favor of it until it has an address. But this is on a main drag, has lots of parking on site, was a busy place before this, now it's obviously very quiet. And the local preference is, it is very significant for this, so. I hope that at some point we actually can get to funding the owner occupied portion of this, but I know that'll be final phase. As I guess the way it was put to me is dependent upon, funding.
There's a state pool of money for it, the Commonwealth Builder Program by Mass Housing, and there just have been many details about when they're going to make that available statewide. It was a program designed for gateway cities, and they've opened it up to the statewide, but they just haven't. The affordable housing bond bill that was passed a few years ago is what opened it up statewide, but the Mass Housing hasn't yet made that available.
Nothing like home ownership that people have pride. And also another thing that is that if Harbor Light does build this project, they also have management on site.
Yes.
And we've had a successful track record.
So
Like Gloucester.
it's not just abandoned, built and abandoned.
What time frame, Phil, do you anticipate this rolling out subject to funding?
So we are anticipating going through the zoning process this year with the ZBA. And then we'll be applying for low-income housing tax credits, which is the primary funding vehicle for this project in the winter. And that funding round that typically opens up December of 26, and then the full application is due in February of 27. Then we would anticipate starting construction either Q4 27 or early 2028.
So I think what I'm gathering from Tony is there were 40 odd units in the initial development, but there were also 5 owner owned and occupied units that are tentative with this project, depending upon second phase funding.
Correct. We proposed
First phase,
7.
dependent upon funding.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
But it sounds like the 5 ownerships are not as solid as the initial 40 unit project.
Correct. The rental is there's something that as Andrew DeFranza from Harbor Light says, we do this all the time. We know how to fund this. The home ownership is a little bit more complicated.
All right, thanks.
With no other councilor questions, I will go ahead and read the motion. This is a memorandum from the senior project manager and the Community Preservation Committee Administration regarding a recommendation from the Community Preservation Committee for round 16 fiscal year 2025 funding projects number 8 in this case. This meeting is continued from December 4th of last year, 2025, and this is project number 8, 272 Washington Street, Gloucester. The Planning Office for Urban Affairs with Harbor Light Homes. The amount is $125,000. The applicant is the Planning Office for Urban Affairs with Harbor Light Homes. Budget and Finance moves to recommend that the City Council appropriate up to $125,000 for the Community Preservation Act funds as recommended by the Community Preservation Committee to provide funding to the Planning Office for Urban Affairs with Harbor Light Homes for the purpose of funding the 272 Washington Street project. The appropriation will be allocated to the community housing category with $125,000 funded from the unrestricted reserves and fund 4500. The project will be tracked in the Community Preservation Fund, Community Housing Projects Fund number 4911, and I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. And Joey, thank you too online. Carry on.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Our next project tonight is a $200,000 grant we're recommending to go to the Gloucester Affordable Housing Trust. The Affordable Housing Trust has a full program of grant making that is intended to engender more additional affordable housing in Gloucester. They have 2 primary sources of funding these days. One is the tax that we collect on short-term rentals, and the other one is money coming from the Community Preservation Fund. We've recommended $200,000 here. The category is housing, and representing the Affordable Housing Trust tonight is Deanna Fay online.
Welcome,
I'll
Deanna.
turn it over to you if you have any other comments on this.
We're not on screen.
Can you hear me okay?
Loud and good.
I was trying to get her shrunk down, and obviously I lost this, but I guess on my screen, I guess it is.
The floor is
Are you
yours.
you're trying to shrink me? I don't know. I'm nervous now. Thank you council members and also CPC members for this opportunity to present. As you all know, the Affordable Housing Trust is along with the CPC they're important tools in the city's toolbox for creating and preserving affordable housing. We share a common mission with the CPC around community housing to create, preserve, and protect, the existing units, create new units to keep our residents safe and living in of homes that they can afford and stay in. So we share the goals around that with each other and also with other city initiatives, the housing production plans, the comprehensive plan, climate and sustainability goals, all of that. So we're all sort of in this same boat together is what I think. And I look at this as sort of an annual partnership with the CPC as being one of our primary funding sources. Funding has always been an issue for the Affordable Housing Trust. As most of you are probably aware, we do have another source that Matt mentioned a couple of sources. We also get payment in lieu through the inclusionary zoning. We recently received a $500,000 payment in lieu, and I see Alex in the background. So if you have questions around that, you can direct them to him. But that's it was an unusual. I've been on the affordable, I'm starting my 3rd term, and that's the first payment in lieu that we had received since I've been on. So, one of the things that I want to just stress about the Affordable Housing Trust and our ability to fund programs is that it's a multiplier effect for projects like a Harborlight or an action project or another nonprofit. Every local dollar that we can invest through the Housing Trust attracts multiple dollars in state, federal, and private match funds. So our ability to support these projects in the city is really, really key to their ability to build them. What sets us a little bit aside from the CPC is that we have more flexibility and speed than they do. So they work on an annual grant process requiring city councils, review and approval. That takes time. The Affordable Housing Trust can address more immediate needs on a rolling basis throughout the year. So this is also really important, especially when you factor in some of the really great projects that we're expecting over the next couple of years. I think, I'm not sure if you have any specific questions. I feel like you're all really familiar with what we do. But I just want to also add that over the last few years, we've been working really hard on the Affordable Housing Trust to make it a more responsive and active committee. We, managed the ARPA funds in 2024 and through the early part of 2025. We've just finalized a rolling grant with guidelines for applicants now. So we're ready to roll. We have some funds in our account, and these additional funds from CPC will really make us a much more productive housing trust. So we're looking forward to doing the work. We just need to get going. So happy to address any specific questions.
Counselors, questions, Patty Ann?
Yeah, Dan, I assumed that the funding coming in was just to build the trust. But you mentioned a project. Do you have a specific project you're going to move on immediately, or is this?
I'm not aware that we have a specific project. We may have an application that's ready to review the next time we meet. We're going to be working off of a rolling application now. So the application and guidelines are online on the website. And anybody that has a project that they think qualifies for Housing Trust funds are welcome to apply, and we will review that at the next meeting. So we will be taking them as they come.
Thank you.
Counselor Gross?
No, I think at some point we may have to have you guys come in and talk about mission and past projects that have been funded, but not
Mhm.
necessarily. It's the time for that.
A summary and overview of.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we've had that in the past.
Yes. I would just be interested before we move on, DNFA, if you could just highlight the current membership of the committee.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a changeover this year. Mary J. Boylan is, I think, the original trust member now. She's been on there the longest. There's myself. Gosh, you're really making me have to think here because it's kind of brand new for this year. Stephen Volt. Barnaby is new. Stephen Volts is new. We have Tom Morgan. He's been on for, I think, one previous term. And who am I missing? I know I'm missing. So I'm trying to think of who's
Bob
left.
Gillis.
Bob Gillis. I don't know how I
Gillis.
could forget Bob. Yeah, Bob is actually our treasurer. So yes.
Larry's not involved anymore.
He's on everything.
The trust has a designee from the mayor, so I am the mayor's designee.
Most of the time, yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
I vote.
Yep. We lost Larry, and we also lost Heather Daigle because she's been elected to school committee. So yep. So we had a little turnover.
Great group. Thank you for that summary. That's helpful for all of us to appreciate.
I feel like it was a trick question.
It was not intended to be so.
I'm just curious, the project that they got the 500,000 from. What project was that?
I don't know the address, but it created 6 units, so it triggered our inclusionary zoning.
that East Main Street?
No.
I could look at it, I don't have it handy, I could grab it here.
Great. If there are no further questions, I would move for Budget and Finance Committee to recommend that the City Council appropriate up to $200,000 from the Community Preservation Act funds as recommended by the Community Preservation Committee, provide funding to the Gloucester Affordable Housing Trust for the purpose of providing affordable housing in the city of Gloucester. The appropriation will be allocated to the community housing category with $200,000 funded from there. Unrestricted reserves and fund 4,500. The project will be tracked in the Community Preservation Fund, Community Housing Projects Fund, Fund number 4910, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to being kept informed about what's up your sleeves.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Now, on my screen, we're on the big one.
It's gonna go black.
Okay, so project number 10 is next.
That's what
Matt?
people-
Project 10 is
That's why it's
a
going
recommended grant of $60,000 to the YMCA of the North Shore to go towards the restoration of the large primary swimming pool at Camp Spindrift. Total project cost on this is just over $200,000. It falls into the recreation category of CPA funds. And here with us tonight is the executive director of the YMCA of North Shore, Aaron McWilliam Lopez, and I'll turn it over to you for any additional background on the project.
Yes, thank you. So Camp Spindrift. Camp Spindrift has been around since the sixties. It's an outdoor summer camp. It's been serving Cape Ann kids, particularly Gloucester kids, since that time. So the pool itself is obviously, you can't have this camp without the pool. The pool itself has not really been, we have not been able to remediate it entirely since the 70s. So we've been patching it together since then. This particular project, I think the last time I came and presented in June, the pool was just not able to open. So at that point, we've been doing all kinds of remediation just to make sure it's open. So this is a really comprehensive project where it's the pool itself, and then it's also the locker rooms where the kids change and transition coming into the pool. We have not been able to remediate that since the 70s, as I said. So a key thing is the YMCA charges for camp. We all know that, but a big part of it is that we're committed to creating access for all kids. So this particular program, or this particular project, we thought was appropriate because we partner with Gloucester Public Schools. The kids that are participating in the summer math and literacy program, they come to the camp 5 days a week while they're participating, and then half the kids are on scholarship. And the other thing is we also have been doing community nights where we bring in families to be able to access the pool as well. So that's where we thought it was appropriate to be a community funded project.
Any questions, councilors?
So, but this, it is a fee-based, membership, not membership really, but camp. But it's probably far more affordable than any other type of summer camp. So more of our economically lower income groups have used this camp, as you said, 50% are on scholarship. So this is also a real piece of the social justice to this. So. But it's well used. These things take a lot of use.
They do.
Are you
And
resurfacing the pool itself too, or just the deck?
we have resurfaced the pool itself as much as we can with a special kind of paint that's almost like a skin. Most of our operating funding, we invest towards scholarships. So about half the kids need scholarships, so that's where we've literally patched this thing together. So we're doing both. Yeah,
All right, thank you.
because it becomes unsafe when it's, the pool, the sealant on the pool itself comes up, so we just have to do it every year.
It's a good liner.
I'm glad you think that.
I've dealt with a few pools,
Okay, okay. No, our-
old pools.
this is an old one, yeah.
And it's above ground or below ground?
It's below ground.
Probably kind of,
It's poured concrete.
yeah, it doesn't have a line.
No, it's concrete.
No further questions, anything else? Sorry that we can't provide the block ice for the ice slide in the pool. We don't make it anymore.
I heard about that. We miss it.
If there are no other questions, I'll read the motion, which is for the Budget and Finance Committee to move and recommend City Council appropriate up to $60,000 from the Community Preservation Act funds as recommended by the Community Preservation Committee. This is to provide funding to the YMCA of the North Shore, Inc. for the purpose of the Camp Spindrift Pool renovation project. The appropriation will be allocated to the open space and recreation category with $60,000 funded from unrestricted reserves in Fund 4500. The project will be tracked in the Community Preservation Fund, Open Space and Recreation Projects Fund, Fund number 4610, and I so move.
Second.
Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I
Any opposed?
just want to say to Matt and all the applicants that our free cash has been certified. We have today.
As of today, excellent.
And the assistant city clerk came to me beginning of the meeting. She said, Kenny said, we could get you on February 24th
At City
or,
Council.
or March 14th, but I will be in touch with you, Matthew, probably tomorrow. About which day we do that.
So we have to wait for the state certification before we can.
That may affect your presentation. For the 24th.
Oh, you know, I have a packed agenda.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. These are the timeline.
It's exciting to have that certification occur as promptly as it has this year, compared to some years in the past. Good.
That's very good news.
On to the East Gloucester site.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
I talk with you.
Yeah.
On behalf of this, behalf of the CPC and Matt, thank you, councilors, for all the work you put in
And thank
And,
your committee.
before time, to do to review all the applications, and take the time. Plus everything else you have to do.
Third
A
job.
lot for the city. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Good.
Have a fun meeting. Go Pat.
A few more fun things.
The chair's gonna run away. before it's done.
The next item on our agenda tonight, budget finance, is the Veteran Services Director's request for our acceptance of donations totaling in the amount of $6,848.50. The motion reads, Budget and Finance moves to recommend that the City Council accept various cash donations under Mass General Law, Chapter 43A, to support veteran services in the amount of $6,848 from the following members and business partners within our community, whom are Ed Camo, Cape Ann chapter of the DAR, Ocean Breeze Cultivators, Peter Jagsky, West Gray Foundation, Women's Club of Magnolia, Pratty's CAV, Fiduciary Trust Company, Pratty's CAV again, and Ed Camo again, for a total of $6,848.50. And I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next item is a memorandum from the Director of our Elder Services requesting. We're still calling it Elder Services. We haven't changed names yet, right? We're on our rebranding. Requesting our acceptance of donations in the amount of $875. Budget Finance moves to recommend the City Council accept various cash donations under Mass General Law, Chapter 4453A, to support the Council on Aging in the amount of $875 from the following members and business partners. People are Richard Sutherland, Mary Ellen Callahan, Mary Alice Cooperoo, Ann Byers, Arlene O'Neill, Mary Ann Grant, Marilyn Grant, Gail Frazier, Dolores Mack Trust, and Dr. Shannon Barrett, for a total of $875. And I so move.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. With our great gratitude.
Opposed?
Any opposed? Opposed, mess. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Number 4 on our agenda is a memorandum from the health director requesting our acceptance of the PHE intermunicipal agreement in the amount of $600,000.
I am here to talk about that a little bit. My name's Danielle Larrabee and
Getting a
I'm,
lot of money.
yes,
Welcome.
so
We don't-
I am the program manager for the Public Health Excellence Grant. The money was actually accepted previously by City Council and BNF. Today, we are just here for approval for the intermunicipal agreement, which basically sets the rules for governance of the money between Gloucester and Manchester. It's been approved by the state, the Department of Public Health, the legal counsel, and the grant coordinator that funds the Public Health Excellence Grant. Manchester Board of Health is approved, their town administrator, and it's been through the City of Gloucester's legal team, Board of Health, and now it sits here with BNF.
Yes, and on the city council. So, as we've noted here, this is a matter for the approval of the intermunicipal agreement, not for the grant itself, which was previously accepted by the council on September 23rd, 2025. Budget and Finance recommends that the city council approve the Public Health Excellence for Shared Services intermunicipal agreement as outlined by the health director memo dated January 15th, 2026, between the municipalities of Gloucester and Manchester by the Sea, Massachusetts. And I so move.
Second.
I have some questions.
Please, questions?
Question. So this grant is hiring a director.
I was the hire,
You were the hire.
yes. I'm the
And
program manager.
You're the program manager for the length of the grant.
Yes.
Do we have retirement liabilities because of this position? And do we share those retirement liabilities with the with Essex and
It's budgeted to the grant for this one. So the grant is self-supporting
what about
entirely
ongoing?
for the life of the grant. Once the grant is over, that's when you take on that liability.
And are we the sole, we carry it all?
We are.
And the way I understood it, I read a little bit about this. I thought if the grant were to end,
The role would be gone.
The role will be gone.
Right.
But if they're an employee with.
The employee
A vested
doesn't
employee,
continue.
but if they're a vested employee and have been an employee with the city for 10 years or more. There may,
Oh, this is a 2-year grant, correct?
right, so it would be other, I was just wondering if we got contributions from the other communities, because that would be fair. Okay, that was my
Right.
question. I mean, it's, it's not,
Right.
this is not gonna make them eligible.
Right. I got you. And if I understood the grant correctly, this is according to the state law safe 2.0, so we're I think required to do this in a sense.
You're not required to join a shared service agreement at the moment, but health departments are required to meet the new SAFE 2.0 standards and requirements. This grant helps with getting to those requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And hopefully we'll arrange, or you'll arrange for funding longer term, and
Yes,
we'll
that's the
be worried
plan.
in 10 years about your retirement benefit.
Oh.
I hope so. Any other questions, Councilor Gross?
No, that was my question. I just was hoping we were sharing the pain,
So
if it comes to it.
I've read the motion. It's been seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
No, the way I read it, Tony, though, is 15% of this goes to Gloucester as the host community for administrative
Right.
costs.
Yeah, no, it was a long term.
administrative and fringe on this one. This one's very well budgeted.
Right, yeah,
More,
Yeah,
more
I think-
self-supporting than our typical. grant.
yeah, that it was, we were covered
Mhm.
for the length of the grant,
Yeah.
but
The next two items.
Thank you.
On our agenda.
Thank you.
don't feel you have to hang around.
No worries,
You
thank
probably
you.
have work.
We're moving on to arts and culture on Rocky Neck in the downtown Harbor Town Cultural District. So we have two motions, number 5 and number 6 on our agenda. The first is memorandum from the Arts, Cultural and Events Coordinator, Miranda, requesting our acceptance of the Rocky Neck Cultural District Grant for 2026 in the amount of $15,000 with a $4,000 City of Gloucester match. Tell us all about it.
Absolutely. So this is an annual grant. Gloucester's been receiving them since 2012 and 2013 respectively for the two districts. The Rocky Neck Cultural District is sponsored by the Rocky Neck Cultural Center. And the Harbor Town Cultural District is sponsored by the City of Gloucester. So this annual grant rolls in from the Mass Cultural Council and funds cultural programming throughout the district. So it's district bound, place-based in Harbor Town is downtown. Rocky Neck is obviously on Rocky Neck. And then it's matched by $4,000 from the mayor every year from the general fund. And I'm happy to tell you more about specific programs, but I do know this is an annual grant, so
We've seen it before.
you've seen it before.
Rebecca Borden was one of the first early
Oh, that makes sense.
supporters of it.
Yeah.
For downtown. Councilor, questions?
Just like to find out, I am familiar with the grant in the districts for $38,000. Does it fund more than just the culture splash? Can you just give me an overview of what all this funding goes for?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Culture Splash is kind of the iconic event of the year, really highlighting our summer tourism months. By Harbor Town, for example, funded the Middle Street Walk that happens the second Saturday in December every year. Ice sculptures for Gloucester So Salty, lobster, the buoys for the Lobster Trap Christmas tree. This year, we're also funding a free presentation of Romeo and Juliet by Lane's Coven at Sawyer Free Library, which is coming up in March. So those are some examples. I won't do an exhaustive list. And Rocky Neck Cultural District also does programming throughout the year. And then actually a significant portion of it helps with marketing for both the districts. So both districts do printed guides of their cultural districts and then signage during the events.
Thank
you. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, like you said, it's, but that's why I deferred to Councilor Page, because, I know what, this is the annual, so.
If there are no other questions, I'll go ahead and read the motion. There are two. The first, Budget and Finance moves to recommend that the City Council accept a state grant under Mass General Law, Chapter 4453A, from the Massachusetts Cultural Council for fiscal year 2026 Cultural District Initiative Grant, amount of $15,000. And this is for the purpose of supporting the Rocky Neck Cultural District and financial assistance to support personnel, marketing, artist stipends, cultural splash programming, and free public transportation for summer Thursday evening cultural experiences located at the Rocky Neck Cultural District. The grant period is from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and there is a $4,000 local match for this grant. And I so move.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, does this start, did this start last July?
It's an ongoing program.
The applications are actually in November, so it's because it was allocated by the state budget that it comes in the July through June.
But you're just getting it now.
Yep.
All right. I have no more budget questions.
Timing,
Well,
timing.
and Connor, if POs are cut, we spend the money right in next fiscal year.
Right.
Is that called an encumbrance?
Yes.
Thank you.
There it is.
Wow. Welcome to Budget and Finance.
Well, it's kind of, not really, but
It's a carryover.
it's a carryover, but only because the PO is. I
Did we just vote on that? All right.
think so.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And Miranda, we have one more for you here. Budget and Finance Committee moves to recommend that the City Council accept its state grant under Mass General Law, Chapter 4453A, Massachusetts Cultural Council for fiscal year 2026 Cultural District Initiative Grant. This is an amount of $15,000 and for the purpose of supporting the Gloucester's downtown Harbor Town Cultural District and financial assistance to support personnel, marketing, artist stipends, cultural splash program, and free transportation for summer Thursday evening cultural experiences located in the downtown Harbor Town Cultural District. The grant period is from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and there is a $4,000 local match for this grant, and I so move.
Second.
Connor, this funding is gonna require a transfer. We have this in the line item.
I believe Alex's ComDev budget has the matching funds, correct, Alex?
So they're gonna be transferred. We
It's already
just
just
know that it's coming.
Pretty much.
We know that this is coming, so we.
And Miranda, I believe that Gloucester is the only or one of the very few cultural districts in the state where we have two.
We're one of the very few, and I did find out, I believe we're the first. So we claimed we were the only for a long time, which was inaccurate, but we are the first that had two cultural districts.
A lot of culture.
Absolutely, as we both know.
We'll fit it in this one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes on the second motion. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you very much. Ryan.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I've got another 5 minutes.
Okay.
And now, Alex and Emily, I guess the next item is yours, the memorandum from the Economic Development Coordinator,
Thank you.
requesting acceptance of the Max Development Grant Award 2026. And this is in the amount of $50,000.
Yeah, so this is a grant that we applied through the state's one-stop program based on our comprehensive plan that did some engagement around the whole vision for the city and identified, as you probably all know, that I-4C2 is a very critical site for Gloucester. And this grant essentially is with the Mass Development's Technical Assistance Program for Real Estate. And this grant would fund a consultant who would help us do a visioning process on the site, collect input, and prepare for an RFP, similar to what you might have seen happen under Kirk's administration. So this also could be thought of an update to that process, as circumstances are different now than they were then. And one of the focus areas that we want to dig into is what do we need to put in there so that we have a realistic call for proposals, that we actually do get proposals back that can help us improve this critical site. So Emily's going to be managing the project with the consultant.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to build on learning from the previous experience. So I think there's an emphasis at the beginning on clearly mapping out, finding the regulations that apply to the site so that ideas that are discussed and proposed are sort of within the confines of what is feasible. And then there's a still to be completely defined, but a plan for community input, which will involve focus group discussions with various stakeholder groups. We're starting to map that out now. And we're, we'll be making sure we talk to the people who are currently using the site to make sure we're not going to completely take away important existing uses. But also talking to other stakeholders that might have good ideas about what could be done, including blue economy. Certainly, we want to talk to developers to get their perspective, because that seemed to be missing last time in terms of what would actually make a developer want to engage on a site.
That's Mr. Cullen at the beginning. Developer.
Yeah, and then
These children do not have the history, Scott. Let's.
Children.
Young men and women.
We can go back Ramada in.
I've done some reading about it. And then after the focus groups, there's going to be opportunities for full broader community input.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Say that again?
After the focus groups. So, two things. So, because I know
You know where I'm coming.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
So, yes, after the focus groups, so we have stakeholders who really have a sort of potentially a vested interest in the site. Then we would open up to the community with kind of very clear areas for input. So it won't just be completely all over the place, it targeted input from the community. However, earlier in the process, there is a plan for sort of planning out the community messaging, like before any of this starts, including the focus groups. And there's also a plan for a website that I think we did not mention last time that we discussed this with the EDIC, a web page that will provide community information about this, and also I would presume contact information for people who want to discuss it further. And then the ultimate deliverable would be an outline of an RFP, as well as advice on an RFP, an RFP process that the city can then choose to do with what it wishes. So it's not mandating us to go through a certain process, but it would be providing a really informed process to follow if we wanted to then launch an RFP.
As we've been reminded several times by Councilor Joel Gavaza, our use of the property as a municipal parking lot is currently, it's past its permitting, I believe, is the way of putting it. So there's some regulatory
Yeah.
compliance issues.
That's my
that
understanding.
also cover. And so
So that's correct, but it also is very important to parking. It's very important to the lobster boats that are there. It's very important to everyone who abuts the property, but it's also very important to the city. So we will be engaging the entire city and the stakeholders and finding ways to identify what's most important about the site now that we would want to see in a proposal as sort of conditions for any proposal that would be entertained. But ultimately, this is a strategy to potentially leverage a public-private partnership to improve the site. There are a lot of opinions about the site, but I think we can all agree that it can be better. And so that's what the goal of this is.
how recent was the Gulf of Maine Research Institute?
Oh, I think that's 2015.
Seems like just yesterday.
Yeah,
And
I think,
all their workshops.
yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, back then? Oh, no, we're talking 2008.
We met at the Chamber of Commerce.
I mean, we're talking
That's
right.
it's ancient history.
That, yeah.
And we met at Endicott, but
Was the Chamber of Commerce. That's
As far as the
Myself.
parking goes for the commercial vessels and vehicles, that would be part of that deed restriction in those easement areas, I believe. For additional parking that would support abutters or downtown needs, I don't know that that is a compliant use. Certainly, it's not marine industrial related. And I think we have to try to work on this. This is the keystone piece of property in Harbor Cove. And it's incredibly important that the economic development and output of this is probably first and foremost. If we get a public-private partnership, but we'll get one shot at this. One of the things that I had asked about earlier, but I know things this week have not been normal. In your grant and in the description of this, there's a report referenced, and I'm just unclear. I know that this is existing.
Did I not get back?
That's, how could you?
Yeah.
There was an existing conditions report that we've all got. However,
I have a copy of summaries of those two reports. So those,
a summary of the two reports.
And-
Okay,
and,
existing conditions,
yeah.
okay. The feasibility study is the geophysical, geotechnical, yeah.
so there's a,
Gussy's truck. has
so
been
there's
down at
two
Felicia.
reports and one looks at the physical conditions of the site.
So it's those two
for
reports I sent you.
The city's upkeep of the site, but also potential for something like a redevelopment. And the second report looks more at whether redevelopment's feasible based on geotechnical
All
analysis.
right, well, I think the
Those are the two
one
I
for
sent.
structure, no, you sent me,
I'm gonna have to abstain
Yeah.
myself here about my,
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks.
100% in support, and I look forward to the process.
No, the ones that I got from the.
Tony,
the same
wrap up for us.
reports I sent
you only sent me one for FOC2 and one for,
Right. St. Peter's.
but there's two different
Okay.
reports.
Yeah, so,
So can I get
We-
the
we submitted-
feasibility report?
yeah, we made that available and sent it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, yeah, right, you're right. I mean, a lot of things took over last week.
No,
So I'll,
you're forgiven, Tom.
There's no problem again.
No, I understand, Tom. That's fine. It fell off the radar.
But essentially,
consult-
these two reports is kind of what's different about the situation today, because if there is someone who's interested in submitting a proposal, they can look at these technical reports and have a good understanding of the conditions of the site and whether it's, that there's potential for redevelopment, other issues like flooding, soil, fill, all of that, that someone would want to know before they entertain the proposal. So it positions us for this process a lot. It puts us in a stronger position than I think we were in some 10 years ago.
And I think in addition to these two, there's also GZA did a 21E on the property, a soil test for the state.
They did soil borings.
Yes,
And do we have,
that should be included in one of these two.
I don't think it was actually a 21E.
I can check with our office.
All right. maybe similar to
I think
that.
that's the one you have.
And the consultant of mass development, this is a pass-through. This money does not come to the city director, as I understand it. The state issues it and hires a consultant. So
Correct.
Gloucester doesn't have control of the money, nor does it come through us, that I understand.
And there's no match.
Zappalac Advisors has been hired through mass development. They're a creative economy consulting firm. I'm not clear that there's any particular background in marine industrial or waterfront property build-out from that.
So Zappalac Advisors specializes in real estate, transformations
Right.
and placemaking. And they do have several projects that are involved in working waterfronts on Cape Cod and other areas. So that's why the state felt they would be a good match for us. But as you pointed out, we don't really get a say in who we get.
I saw the Gloucester farm, the public process. I just want to really try to go over that. I understand you do stakeholder focus groups and that. But again, what type of public input or engagement do you vision? Maybe you don't have control of the consultant. I don't know how this partnership works, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna give a very unsatisfactory answer. That is like, we have to define it like collaboration with the consultant. And I think we've talked about different things. We'd like to do 2 events on the site where like we bring people onto the site to discuss.
The general public.
The general public, yes. So we know that much. Then we've talked about like, wanting to get youth involved and like, could we combine it with some events that would actually like draw people in rather than sort of the usual suspects who would normally come to something like that. So we've had some informal conversations about that, but that's kind of as far as we've gotten.
We haven't been able to fully develop the scope without the consultant under contract, but I would say that the city's role really is in the community engagement and facilitation, whereas the consultant's role is more in the technical understanding of what an RFP process is and how we should collect input to inform that process. So the focus groups are really intended to get some of that technical information as well as the interests of the stakeholders that have more direct connections to the site. And then there's the citywide engagement, as this is a very critical site for the city of Gloucester and the whole public should shape the outcome.
Yeah, good. And I just, I support robust public process, front loaded early and often as we can. So within whatever confines your consultant will allow. And okay, that's
I just sent those.
best of luck. We will all be watching.
We hope you will help us.
I'll do that as much as I can. This is the most studied piece of property.
So we
in the
get
state.
Deanna here, just taking up the whole screen. I tried to get rid of it.
We're not,
Kenny's back.
we're not tech people.
I think they came on Friday.
Yeah, it's all right.
I can forward
I
it.
get it.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, so are we ready?
yes,
You want to read the motion?
I will. All right, memorandum from the Economic Development Coordinator requesting acceptance of Mass Development Grant Award 2026 in the amount of $50,000. The committee recommends I move to recommend that the City Council accept a state grant under Mass General Law 44, Section 53A, Community One Stop for Growth Grant from Mass Development in the amount of $50,000 from the Real Estate Services Technical Assistant Program to support the 65 Roger Street, commonly known as I-4C2, Visioning and RFP Development Project. There is no local match for this grant, and I so move.
Second.
I will make one more comment that I have talked to Alex about this and probably Tony too in the past. The one-stop grant was, I think, what they consider a boilerplate. And because it does say housing mixed use commercial, I did take some note and objection to that, but we all are clear that we're gonna stay within the parameters of the DPA and the marine industrial zone, as you stated. So thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it 2-0, 1 absent. When you read it, don't,
Oh, sorry.
when you say commonly known as I-4C2, you don't add.
Oh, I can't say that. I can't add them.
No,
All right.
no.
My first motion.
This is a.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You guys can, eat it. And now, Kenny, we
Time's up.
have the report that tells us how we're doing.
Good evening, counselors. Can you hear me okay?
Okay,
Can you hear me okay? So,
just fine.
so the from the last report, the amount has increased significantly by 1.3 million. And the lion's share of that is from the snow plow and salting line. So, as you know, the snow season, it's not over yet. So, we'll have to keep an eye and monitor, the snow and ice. And as you know, that's the only account or type of accounts that we can deficit spend with the approval of the CAO. So the number of accounts didn't increase, but that is the majority of the one account that did increase. We did take care, if you remember, the 2 transfers last time for the trash. For the overtime that we had, we just moved that. It was 2 SBTs, so we took care of that. So that's off the list. We're working with Elise from Council on Aging on the formula grant. So I suspect that on the next report that should be resolved. I also know Connor's working also too on some salary transfers. I know payroll's working on encumbrances just to verify that the encumbrances are correct. So I feel good that this year we're working on the list, trying to whittle down the list. So by the end of the fiscal year, the list should be a lot shorter. So that's all I have.
Thanks.
And then the other big news is the free cash was certified today by the
Happy
DOL.
day. Happy day.
Yes, thank you.